It was some time after midnight. I thought midnight would signal the start of the downhill slide, but the hour had passed, and we were still together, and she didn't seem ready to vanish. We left the Café du Monde and walked into the Quarter. I despise Bourbon Street. The strip joints with the pasties over nipples, the smell of need, the dwarfed souls of men attuned only to flesh, the noise. We walked through it like art connoisseurs at a showing of motel room paintings. She continued to talk about her life, about the men she had known, about the way they had loved her, the ways in which she had spurned them, and about the trivia of her past existence. I continued to talk about my loves, about all the women I had held dear in my heart for however long each had been linked with me. We talked across each other, our conversation at right angles, only meeting in the intersections of silence at story's end. She wanted a julep, and I took her to the Royal Orleans Hotel, and we sat in silence as she drank. I watched her, studying that phantom face, seeking for even the smallest flicker of light off the ice in her eyes, hoping for an indication that glacial melting could be forthcoming. But there was nothing, and I burned to say correct words that might cause heat. She drank and reminisced about evenings with young men in similar hotels 100 years before. We went to a nightclub where a flamenco dancer and his two-woman troupe performed on a stage of unpolished woods, their star-shining black shoes setting up resonances in me that I chose to ignore. Then I realized there were only 3 couples in the club, and that the extremely pretty flamenco dancer was playing to Lisette. He gripped the lapels of his bolero jacket and clattered his heels against the stage like a man driving nails. She watched him, and her tongue made a wholly obvious flirtatious trip around the rim of her liquor glass. There was a 2-drink minimum, and as I have never liked the taste of alcohol, she was more than willing to prevent waste by drinking mine as well as her own. Whether she was getting drunk or simply indulging herself, I do not know. It didn't matter. I became blind with jealousy, and dragons took possession of my eyes. When the dancer was finished, when his half-hour show was concluded, he came to our table. His suit was skin-tight and the color of Arctic lakes. His hair was curly and moist from his exertions, and his prettiness infuriated me. There was a scene. He asked her name. I interposed a comment. He tried to be polite, sensing my ugly mood. She overrode my comment. He tried again in Castilian, th-ing his S's. She answered. I rose and shoved him. There was a scuffle. We were asked to leave. Once outside, she walked away from me. My unicorn was at the curb, eating from a porcelain Sèvres soup plate filled with flan. I watched her walk unsteadily up the street toward Jackson Square. I scratched my unicorn's neck, and he stopped eating the egg custard. He looked at me for a long moment. Ice crystals were sparkling in his mane.